just the last couple of days, people started freaking out after 9 pillars of light were seen above a coastal town in Japan. A plane flying from London to Singapore was hit by turbulence so severe that one person died and 31 others had to be rushed to hospital. Apple has finally responded to the complaints about people's deleted photos reappearing and ruining lives. And a new study say that they found microplastics in every single human testicle that they studied? 100%. All of that and more in our 29th video on the channel, so let's get cracking. Okay, let's start today out with a little bit of a public service announcement warning. If you go to London, do not use your phones on the street. Now, for context, in recent years, phone thefts in London have been having a massive surge. People will be waiting at the bus stop or just walking around using their phones, when these guys dressed in all black will come up behind them on a bike or something, snatch it out of their hands, and then quickly accelerate off. I mean, if you couldn't find the use cases for an electric bike before, I think you can now. And this is not just like 1 or 2 cases a day. There were almost 91,000 phones stolen from Londoners in 2022, which works out at an average of about 248 cell phones stolen a day, or 1 every 6 minutes. Oh my God. And that's our capital. And it's believed to have got worse since then. Nearly 70% of all thefts in London were related to mobile phones, which begs the question, who's buying all these phones? Only 2% of the stolen devices were recovered, and young people are disproportionately the targets of these crimes. Great. I mean, I don't even live in London, but I do have to go up there fairly often. And I saw this shit with my own eyes. We were in a taxi, and I just so happened to be looking through the front window. This guy, just like you see here, dressed in all black, goes up to this dude that's just chilling, waiting for the bus, tries to grab his phone. He manages to keep it, but I was like, damn. And I asked the driver, I was like, do you see this often? And he's like, yeah, all the time. And it is getting so bad. So that's your warning. Let's move on. Okay, now if you ever just needed to be terrified enough to, do the right thing and wear your seatbelt on the plane at all times, let's be honest, none of us do. I think this might be the thing that changes all of that. Because just yesterday, a flight from London to Singapore was hit by turbulence so bad that 1 man died. I mean, I already said that in the hook. You guys know. Let me just go on to the visuals. And I do have to be kind of careful with the ones that I do show you because they're pretty bad. All right, so this thing right here was created by someone's head smashing into that. Horrific. Here, as you can see, it's just the chaos from the food. Oh, and you don't notice, but in the corner, is that a body? I'm not too sure. Someone did die. We're just gonna skip past that because that's got blood in it. Look at this. She is not having a good day. Look at the ceiling of this thing. Absolutely destroyed. I bet that was from those heavy-ass bins suddenly flying up and smashing into there. This is just the aftermath of how it was caused. Obviously, all of the oxygen masks fell down. Yeah, now in terms of what actually happened, according to the passengers, the plane started tilting upwards and it just started shaking. Then, very suddenly, there was a dramatic drop. And so everyone not wearing their seatbelt just flew, hit the top. Actually, this passenger explained it pretty well.
Definitely, yes. Worst of my life, actually. Things were going very smoothly at first. I'd just been to the loo, came back, sat down, bit of turbulence, and suddenly the plane plunged. I don't know how far, but it was a long way and so sudden, there was no warning at all. And I ended up hitting my head on the ceiling, my wife did. Some poor people who were walking around ended up doing somersaults. It was absolutely terrible. And then suddenly it stopped and it was calm again.
Mad. I didn't even think about the people in the toilets. I mean, talk about the literal being scared out of you. Okay, I'd like to formally apologize. That was inappropriate. Alex forced me to make that joke. It's all Alex's fault. Hot coffee splashed over everyone, people started praying, and luckily after they made it through, it was pretty sudden. I think it all happened in about 10 seconds. Instead of going all the way to Singapore, they quickly landed in Thailand so that people could get medical attention. So yeah, seatbelts kind of useless if you get into a crash, but very useful if you get into a bit of turbulence like this. Moving on. Oh, okay, we also got an update on the whole reappearing deleted photos thing with Apple. Very strange. Apple has finally responded, and ironically, it comes through another update on your phone. So if you look in software update settings on your phone, they say it addresses a rare issue where photos that experience database corruption could reappear in the Photos library even if they were deleted. So they're basically saying, horrifically, it wasn't Cap, and people's sensitive images really did reappear on devices that they sold to friends, and then those friends saw it. I mean, that is diabolical. Moving on. Okay, now this is some pretty major breaking news. Spain, Ireland, and Norway have announced that they will formally recognize Palestine as a state next week on the 28th. And Israel is furious. They recalled their ambassadors from Dublin and Oslo and threatened to do the same in Spain, saying it sends a message to Palestinians and the world: terrorism pays. The PLO called the news a historic moment and that recognition of a Palestinian state is the path to stability, security, and peace in the region. If you didn't know, currently about 140 countries around the world recognize Palestine as a state, but interestingly, the US and the UK are not a part of that list. Moving on. Banging through these today, but this next one, frankly, is a bit concerning. A new study has said that they found microplastics in every human testicle that they examined. 100%. That's wild. And I mean, if I see one ball joke in the comments, I'm gonna lose it. Scientists tested 23 human testicles and 47 from pet dogs. All of them were compromised. Every single one. I mean, how does it even get there? Is my question. Researchers have been trying to figure out why men's sperm count has been dropping for decades now. And before this study, even the author themselves doubted whether microplastics could possibly penetrate the reproductive system. But now they believe that this new discovery could be a potential reason why. So it's pretty big in the grand context of things. And I mean, like, I don't know how much you know about microplastics, but this is like an all-out war. It's like a crisis right now. Microplastics have been recently discovered in human blood, placenta, breast milk, the summit of Mount Everest, the Mariana Trench, everywhere. They're not just behind enemy lines, they're inside our bodies, in the most sensitive parts too. Now, let's calm down for a second because the impact on human health is not fully understood yet. And I bet when we do find out, we're gonna be like, damn. That's like the times when, you know, doctors were promoting cigarettes saying like, yeah, this shit's okay. But they have been shown to cause damage to human cells in the laboratory. We don't really know a lot because it's basically one of those situations where you really need like 30, 40, 50 years of data so you could understand the effects, and we just don't really have that yet. But I think we can at least, at the minimum, rule out it's not making us healthier. So unlike the microplastics in our balls, let's move on. Okay, now this next story that I'm gonna show you, I don't think you will ever see again because it's just so strange, and I don't think there's been anything like this. A guy in New Zealand, of course, it's either New Zealand or Australia, has caused outrage online after a video went viral of bro jumping in, body slamming next to a freaking killer whale. The apex predators of the ocean. The things that have started wars with human boats this year. Potentially the scariest animal on the planet, in my opinion. I mean, have you seen how they hunt penguins? This is very off topic, but very interesting nonetheless. Alex, can you play that video of them swimming? They swim underneath icebergs so that it literally, the ripples from their swimming flow over, destabilize the penguins, put them in the ocean so that they can then eat them. And they do this in like tag teams, organization. Anyway, they're fucking crazy. Let me move on with this. Now, he is either the bravest man alive or the stupidest. But instead of him becoming the first ever human killed by a wild orca, but he, the delicate, spongy, soft, pale human, tiny thing that can't even swim, scares the orca whale away, and it swims away. He then turns around to his friends and he says, "I touched it." Insane. The orcas come back and they're literally circling him while he swims around unfazed. Now, because it's illegal to swim with whales or disturb or harass any marine mammals, he was found by police and fined $600. The Department of Conservation says that it shows a real shocking attitude to protected animals. I was gonna say they don't need protection because they're fucking beasts, but humans are kind of evil. Anyway, man, I mean, people are literally trying their hardest to become a statistic, aren't they? Don't try this at home. Moving on. So let's talk about these 9 strange pillars of light in the sky. What the hell could they be? The picture was taken on the 11th of May, and it wasn't just one. It was seen from multiple angles, kind of ruling out when I first saw this. I thought, you know, it's just maybe like streaks from when you take a picture, and it's just like, eh? But no, definitely not. They're very real beams in the sky. They look like 6 bright swords, like the angels of heaven just coming back and punishing us for our sins. Especially Alex. Like, Alex would be really punished. So I did a bit of research, and put your calls in now. What is it? Aliens? The end of the world? Something else that I can't even think of? Well, the man who actually took the picture and originally posted it explained it's actually a rare natural phenomenon called fishing fire light pillars. Could have come up with something easier. And it actually can be seen once every few years. To make a very complex situation very simple, what happens is, as temperatures get cold overnight, little crystals form in the sky. And then there's a bunch of all of these boats in the sea, right? And they use these massive lights, which they say help, you know, attract a larger catch. These boats, powerful lights, then bounce up, you know, up there off of the crystals, which create this. I mean, I'm sorry. It's never as simple as just, it's aliens. Because it would make it much more simple for me to, oh, yo, guys, those 6 pillars, they were just some aliens coming down. And you'd be like, okay, cool. But explaining this to you, you'd be like, man, shut the hell up. I don't care about some ice crystals in the sky. But anyway, that's what's been happening around the world in the last 2 days. Oh, and also the president of Iran died, but that was like on Monday, and I did many videos about that on my TikTok and Instagram, so I didn't think you'd already seen it, so I didn't need to add it in here. Either way, it was nice and concise today, right to the point. I'll see you again on Monday, and I'm sure that shit will be a 20+ minute video. I'm rambling. I love you. Bye. Woo!